Hello! Welcome to our new course about French for beginners. In this course, you will learn all the basics about the French language. First, let me welcome you. I'm very happy to be here with you today, and I hope you will be enjoying this lecture. In this lecture, we will learn about the French alphabet. We will also see an introduction to French phonetics, but more will be covered in the next few lectures. Let's see what are our learning objectives for today, or as we call them in French, objectifs d'apprentissage. In this lecture, you will learn what letters in French sound like. You will also learn basic conventions when spelling out words in French, including how to spell out letters with accents on them. The first important thing to know is that French uses the Roman alphabet, or as we call it in French, the Latin alphabet. There are 6 vowels in French, which are the following ones: A, E, I, O, U, Y. I know that in English, Y is considered as a consonant, but in French we count it as a vowel, which is why it's in this list. Let me repeat them for you. First we have A, then we have E, I, O, U, Y. I will repeat this one because it's a bit tricky. It's Y, which means literally Greek eye. Y. Let me repeat once again. A, E, I, O, U, Y. Now, when they have an accent or what we call a tréma, vowels may be pronounced differently. First, we have accent aigu, which you can see is a little mark that goes from the bottom left to the top right. Accent aigu, which means acute accent. Then we have accent grave, which goes from top left to bottom right, and we place it on vowels. So I repeat, accent grave. Then we have accent circonflexe, which looks like a little hat that you can put on vowels. And then we have the 2 dots, which are called tréma. In the following lecture, we will see in details how they're used and how they change the pronunciation of letters. When combined with some other letters, vowels are also sometimes pronounced in a different way. Again, we will cover that more in depth in the next lecture. There are 20 consonants in French, which are the same as in English, but which are pronounced differently. First, we have B, then C, D, F, G, H, J. In those ones, they're not really tricky, but instead of saying B or C like in English, we have an A sound in French. So B, C, D. And the 2 letters you have to be careful about here are G and J, because they're the opposite of English. G in English is G, whereas J in English is J. So I will repeat them again. B, C, D, F, G, H, J. Then let's see the following ones. K, L, M, N, P, Q, R. Most of those ones are like in English, so just be careful about the K, which is pronounced K, and about the P, which is pronounced P, the Q, which is pronounced Q, and the R sound, which is quite different, R. The next ones, S, T, V, W, X, Z. I will repeat them again. S, T, V, W, X, Z. As you can see, they're not too tricky, but you have to be careful about W. In English, you say W. In French, it's literally double V, which is why we say double V. Just like the letter before, V, and then W. Accents don't exist on consonants in French, so you don't have to worry about those. However, the letter C can be spelled with what we call a cédille. So it's written like this, cédille. In a future lecture, we will learn more in depth about the cédille and about consonants. When combined with some other letters, some consonants are also pronounced in a different way, which again we will cover in a future lecture. Spelling in French. Now, as I said before, French letters are not pronounced like you pronounce them in English. Because of this, you have to learn the French pronunciation. Otherwise, a native French speaker would not be able to understand you if you spell out a word saying something like A, B, C, D. You have to use the French pronunciation. If you're spelling something over the phone, it's also more difficult, so you might need to use some examples to make the letters clearer. In English, sometimes you will say something like A, like alpha. In French, people don't really do that. Or in English, you might use A like apple. You can do that in French as well, but it's much more common to use first names of people. So here I'm giving you a list with common first names in French, which should be very useful. First, we have A comme Amélie. A comme Amélie. Comme means such as or as. B comme Bernard. C comme Carole. D comme Daniel. E comme Eugène. F comme Frédéric. G comme Gérard. H comme Henri. I comme Isabelle. J comme Jacques. K comme Kevin. L comme Léon. M comme Monique. N comme Nicolas. O comme Odile. P comme Pascal. Q comme Quentin. R comme Roland. S comme Sylvie. T comme Tatiana. U comme Ursule. V comme Véronique. W comme William. X comme Xavier. Y comme Yves. Z comme Zoé. So, the final point of this lesson is that learning the basic pronunciation in French is very important. You shouldn't skip this step unless you've already learned French, of course. Because this step is very important, this is also why we're going to cover this topic more in depth in the next few lectures. We will have a lecture specifically about vowels, and then we will have a lecture specifically about consonants. After that, we will still practice spelling in French, but obviously we will also move on and learn more things in the following lectures. If you would like to learn more about French pronunciation and specifically about the alphabet, the first link here is a video in which you will see just the alphabet pronounced in the normal order of letters. Like this, you can listen to the video and practice each letter separately and pause it and review them as much as you want. You may also want to use word reference, which is not specifically about the alphabet, but which will be useful when you start learning words. Word reference has a dictionary with words from French to English or English to French, and a lot of the time it comes also with an audio sample to let you check the pronunciation. If audio samples are not available on word reference, you might find them on Larousse, which is the French dictionary website, or on the website for TV5 Monde, which is from a French TV channel and which also has access to a dictionary, a lot of the time with pronunciation samples available. If you're very interested in French phonology in general, you might want to check this article on Wikipedia, where you can learn really about all the difference between the different sounds and all the different distinctions when you have some sounds which may be similar to English or similar to another language. If the differences are really subtle, the phonetic alphabet will help you learn those. Obviously, this is not compulsory. It's only if you're really interested in phonetics. The last link on this list is phonetic.free.fr, which is also very useful if you're starting to learn French, because you can listen to a lot of different sounds for free. However, this is not going to work on many smartphones, so you should check that from a computer, because if I remember well, this website uses Flash. The only advantage here is that this website is completely free and has got many audio samples. So, just to summarize everything, there are 26 letters in the French alphabet, just like in English. We have 6 vowels, because remember, in French we count the Y as a vowel, it's not a consonant. And then we have 20 consonants. So now, this is all for today. I would like to say thank you to you, or as we say in French, merci. And I'm saying also au revoir, which means goodbye. In the next lecture, we will learn about pronunciation rules related to French vowels specifically, because, as I said, there are accents or there are other letters which might change the pronunciation of vowels. We will also review basics about vowels and accents that we covered in this lecture. And we will see examples of many words so we can see the pronunciation of a combination of letters with specific examples. So I would like to thank you again for being here with us today, and I will say to you, see you next time. Au revoir!